Hello my dear students, how are you all? Welcome to our YouTube channel Diksha Karnataka. I am Ankit Srivastav, continuing with your ongoing series which is 60 out of 16 KCET Mathematics in 100 days. Okay, so far we have covered only one session in the calculus unit, which is nothing but we recapped the limits, right? In the session 1 that we discussed for this chapter, continuity and differentiability. Okay, we only recapped the limits part. Since as I said, we're gonna use limits all this time in the entire chapter, so it's better to know and recall things from your PU1 part. Okay, so I hope you have watched the session. I hope you enjoyed the session. If not, then go ahead, watch it, learn things from there, recall your all the concepts. Okay, I have to try to solve questions on various kind. I've taken different functions also to make you understand the concepts of limits. Okay, how we are using it, what is left hand limit, what is right hand limit, right? So in the session today we'll talk about the continuity and types of discontinuity, right, alongside some other concepts, but we'll mainly focus on these two things. All right, so we'll understand the definitions, we'll solve the questions on these definitions. For example, on the definition of continuity, there's a lot of questions has been asked. Okay, we'll not solve all the questions today because this is just the beginning of this chapter, so we'll only solve we'll not solve PYQs today, but we'll solve the questions which will be very helpful to build our foundation, right? Like how can we approach the definition of continuity, and I have taken different types of functions to understand our concept as well. So I hope you are all ready, very much energized. So take your notebook and pen out and start solving questions with me. I don't think it should take long, so if you want, you can just continue to solve the question with me. If you're taking long, make the pause in the video. Okay, solve your problem from your side, make an effort, and then come back and see the solution from me. All right, so with this, let me start with the session. So what is coming up first? So I don't have to recap the previous session. What was the previous session? We did limits. Okay, we understand what is limit, why we need limits. Okay, we took a function where we explained that what is the need. Okay, where is the need which is arised, so that we are using something else which is called as limiting value of the function. Okay, then how can we find it? Okay, where can we say the limit exists or not? So all these conditions we discussed in the previous session. Okay, so I'm not recalling all of that. In the session today, I'm starting directly with your definition of continuity. I hope that is okay. I hope that is okay. If you need to recap the previous session, go ahead, watch the video which is based on limits. We have started our unit calculus, right? So that was the first video for our unit for calculus unit for PU2 portions. So let's look at the definition of continuity. Okay. So again, let's look at it. Limit will be used here all this time. Okay, we can see at all these places you are using limit. So definition of continuity states that if you have the left hand limit, okay, of the function, or right hand limit of the function, means if you have LHN and RHL, if you have LHN and RHL, and you are saying that LHN and RHL are equal to each other, what it means? This was the condition for existence of limit. Remember, if LHN and RHL exist and they're equal to each other, then we can say the limit of that function fx exists at that point x tends to a. Means at the point a, the limit exists. When can I say that? When LHN and RHL are equal. Yes sir, you said this. Means the limit, so I can simply write the limit of the function fx at x tends to a. Correct, because limit is existing, no? So both the values are, let's say both values are equal to a value m, okay, a constant value m. Then I can say, or maybe a function. So I can say this m, okay, is this. And when can now the part of continuity comes here. Now when I say that actually if I am finding the value of the function at a, when I am finding the value of the function at a, the value of the function at a means what? X equals to a. This becomes also equals to m. So if I have to simplify this, if the limit of the function at that particular arbitrary value becomes equal to the function value at that same value a, then I can say that the function is continuous at a. Okay, I'll repeat. Please check here. If the limit, what does this mean? This means limit only, no? Left hand limit, right hand limit. So they're equal means they're limit. So if the limit of the function fx at a, limit of the function fx at a is equal to f of a, means function value at a, then I can say the function is continuous at point x equals to a. I'll repeat, the limit of the function at a when x tends to a, the limit whatever you're getting, once you evaluate it, if that is coming equal to the function's value at a, then I can say that function fx is continuous at the point x equals to a. I hope this is clear. Now the point where the function is continuous, we call it the point of continuity. Obviously, point of continuity. Let's move on. Okay, now discontinuity of the function. Obviously, if the reverse is true, means the function, the limit is not equal to the function value, then we'll say function is what? Discontinuous. Now we have different ways we can say the function is discontinuous. For continuity, there is only one statement, that the function's value should be equal to the limiting value of the function at that same point. At point A, limit is same as function's value at A. So this is the only way to define a continuous function. But the discontinuity has some other ways as well. So let's check what are the different ways. So first of all, let's read the definition. So the function fx is not continuous at x equals to a when the limit is not equal to function's value. When the limit is not equal to function's value, and this is called as what? Its point A is called as the point of discontinuity. In the previous case it was point of continuity. In this case it is point of discontinuity. Okay, sir. Now this can happen. This discontinuity can be true because of various reasons. Various reasons. What are those? Means, okay, limit of the function is there. Means LHL. This is what, bacha? This is my LHL. This is my RHL. So this or both may not exist. Means my left hand limit does not exist. My right hand limit does not exist. Means when I'm trying to find the left hand limit, it is not existing in nature. Okay, it is not existing in nature. So either this is not existing, or this is not existing, or both of them are not existing. Correct, na? Means I don't have L1 only. Means do you remember I said this LHL I can call it as L1 and I can call it RHL as L2. Okay, so if you say that L1 does not exist, DNE, then how will you say that limit will exist? Remember, for limit to exist, it has to be L1 equal to L2. Now L1 is not existing, and L2 is also, let's say if L2 is not existing, then in this situation what will happen, bacha? I will not have any continuity, because I will not be able to find what? The limit of the function. I will not be able to find the limit of the function. So in that situation, I can directly say the function is discontinuous at the point A. At A, so this A is my what? Is my point of discontinuity. This is clear? I hope this is clear. Moving on. Now, there can be a case where both this LHL and RHL exist. Means both are existing but not equal. Please understand this. L1, the LHL and RHL both exist but not equal. It means what? It means even though they are equal, the limit is not existing, right? Sorry, even though they exist, right? L1 exists, L2 also exists, forgive me, but what, bacha? L1 is not equal to L2. L1 is not equal to L2. In this situation, what is happening? The limit is not existing, because for limit to exist, the left hand limit and right hand limit has to be equal. So now if the limit does not exist, then how can you say that limit will be equal to the function value at A? Again, the point A will be what? Point of discontinuity. Point of discontinuity. I hope you understand that. Okay, next. Now they're saying that the third condition, first one was either of these does not exist, or both of them does not exist. Second one was both exist but not equal. Third one is both exist and both are equal but not equal to f of A. Please understand. Means L1 exists, the left hand limit, L2 also exists and they are equal to each other. Means what? Limit exists. Correct? Limit exists, but this limit L is not equal to function's value. Okay, means for what are the other reasons? So all of these has to be true, okay, for it to be discontinuous. For continuity, only one case is there. What is it? It has to be limit must exist and has to be equal to f of A. So see here, first case does not exist, either one of them or both of them. Second case exists, the limit L1 and L2 exist but they are not equal to each other, so limit does not exist. Okay, now L1 and L2 exist and equal to each other, it means what? Limit exists, and but limit, the value of the limit is not equal to f of A, and the value of the limit is not equal to f of A. Again, this is going to be a reason of discontinuity. So these are the three reasons of discontinuity. Okay, we'll check now. So only this, from here only, we'll categorize types of discontinuity. Okay, so first we learned what is the reason. Now next we will categorize later in the session types of discontinuity. So let's take the first example that we have. Examine the continuity of the function. Okay, the function is given as 2x square minus 1. Remember this if you have watched the previous session. If not, then if you know this, there's something called as indeterminate form, right? Indeterminate form. So if I am getting this form after substituting the value of x in the function, if I'm getting this form, then I have to make some changes. What are the changes? If you remember, I can rationalize, I can use standard form of limits. The standard form of limits I can use if it is exponential function, exponential functions standard form, or I can use rationalization. As I said, I can use different other approaches, substitution also I can use. So all these approaches can be used to remove this indeterminate form, correct? And then we can substitute the value. So if you check here, if I put this 3 here, am I getting an indeterminate form? Please check. So do you remember the indeterminate form we wrote? 0 by 0, infinity by infinity. There was total of 7, right? There was total of 7. Okay, so is it of this form? Please check. 2 into 3 square will be what, bacha? 9 into 2, so 18 minus 1, 17. It's not indeterminate, right? So I can directly put the value here. So if I'm liking to find the value of limit, okay, now they're saying continuous, right? No, we have to check the continuity. So if I have to find the limit value of fx when x tends to 3, how will I go about this? So it will be limit 2x square minus 1 when x tends to 3. Yes, how will this look like? I'll put the value here. 2 times of 3 square minus 1, 2 times of 9 minus 1, so 18 minus 1 is 17. Okay, and what about f of a? What about f of a? Okay, you can find the LHL also. You can find the LHL also. So you can find LHL or RHL as well. When you do that, what will you do? You'll substitute x as x as 3 plus h. 3 plus h. Wherever the x is, you substitute 3 plus h. Sorry, not for LHL. 3 minus h, na? 3 minus h. 3 minus h for LHL, and for RHL you will substitute x as 3 plus h. Again, this is from the concept of limits only, left hand limit and right hand limit. A plus h and a minus h. This is my a value, right? 3 is my a value, so a plus h is for RHL, a minus h is for LHL. If you do that, what will happen? You have to take this value, na? If you know, for both the cases, you have to take what? S tends to 0. Now limit will be what? Approached at s tends to 0. If you do that, again you'll get 3 minus 0, 3 plus 0 will be 3 only. If you substitute here, there's no indeterminate form, you'll get here as 3 square and 3 square. So answer will be simply 17. Let's check f of a. F of a will remain this, bacha, f of 3, which will again be what? 2 times of 3 square minus 1, so again 17. So if you check here, I'm getting f of a is equal to limit value of the function at a. So I can say simply that it is a continuous function. It is a continuous function. Please check. It is a continuous function. Why, sir? Because limits value is 17 and the function value is also 17. So this is a continuous function. Simple question. Let's move forward. Okay. Now algebra of continuity. Algebra of continuity means what? This, based upon this concept, now a lot of questions can be asked. Okay, and actually they are asked, and it makes question more complex. So it is actually what you can expect in your coming examination. So this can be applied to solve questions. Okay, to frame a question also. Forget about solving. To frame a question, we can also use this concept. So what is the first one? First of all, know the statement. There's a function fx. There's a function gx. Both of them are individually continuous at point A. If I say that there is a function fx and gx, both of them are individually continuous at a point x equals to a, means fx is continuous at x equals to a, even gx is continuous at x equals to a. When this is true, only when this is true, this has to be true, bacha, all the time. If this condition is not true, no, I cannot have any of these conditions validated. So only if this condition is true, then what can happen? Then f plus g will always be continuous at x plus a. Remember? Forgive me. So f is continuous, g is continuous at x equals to a, then f plus g. The sum of f and g will also be continuous. What about f minus g? Again continuous at x equals to a. Okay. What about f into g? Again continuous at x equals to a. So product is continuous, sum is continuous, and also the difference of the two functions are continuous. Alright. Provided that f and g is continuous at point A. Moving on. I hope you understood this. Not much is there in this, right? So over here it looks very simple. Even in the questions it's simple only, but application is there in the problems. I'll show you when we're doing it. Okay. So f by g, again this will be continuous, means sum is continuous, product is continuous, Difference is continuous, so is quotient. So if you take quotient also, it's continuous provided that g of a is not equal to 0. Obviously, to make it to be definable, I cannot have g as 0. G is the denominator, right? G is the denominator, so g cannot be equal to 0, bacha. I hope this is clear. Okay. Again, so last one, if you multiply a constant k with it, that will also be a continuous at x equals to a. Okay, provided k is a real number, a constant. Okay, all right. Now the last one, this is again a very important statement. Student doesn't what do you call, they skip this last statement. They think this is difficult to understand. I don't know why, but let's see. We'll try to simplify it as in a simplest way that I can. So this is again a composite functions application. F and g, please check here, f and g are real functions as that fog is defined. Okay, fog is defined and g is continuous at x. Obviously, check here, I'm writing what? Fog at what? At a. Okay, so at a only. So for this to be continuous, so first of all, bacha, please understand, f and g both are continuous. F and g both are continuous. Okay, so for fog of a to be continuous at point a, my if condition is for fog to be continuous at point a, I want this to be true. I want fog to be continuous at point a. What should be the necessary condition? G should be continuous at a, G should be continuous at a, and f should be continuous at g of a. Please check. If you write this, how will you write this? F of g of a only, no? F of g of a only, right? So g should be continuous at point a and f should be continuous at point ga. Then I can say fog is continuous at point a. Okay, so please check. G is continuous at point a and f is continuous at point ga. Then I can say fog is continuous at point a. Correct? Remember, look at the order. G continuous at point a, f continuous at point g of a, then I can say fog is continuous at point a. Okay, this is simple. Okay, moving on. Now continuity in an interval. Okay, I solved a question on this in the previous session, in the limit session. I have taken the question again today to explain you this part. Okay, to explain this part, especially this part. So please check the first one. If I am checking the continuity in open interval, when can I say in an open interval AB, the given function is continuous? Okay, so it's very simple. Open interval means what, bacha? Open interval means what? Open interval means the last a, the values a and b are not part of the domain. If I'm writing domain or range, whatever I'm writing, if I'm writing a set A, let's say, as open interval a to b, it means a and b, the value a and b are not part of the set, correct? So the function to be, for a given function, let's say, I'm talking for fx, to be continuous in this open interval a and b, it has to be continuous for every single point between from a to b. Okay, it has to be continuous at every single point from a to b. Okay, so it is, so I can say, yeah, so every point in the interval a to b, whatever, let's say, if there's infinite number of points, then the function has to be continuous for all these infinite number of points. Okay, all the points lying between a and b, the function has to be continuous at each and every point. Then only I can say the function fx is continuous at, or continuous in the open interval a comma b. Now what about closed interval? Okay, so for this to be closed interval at a comma b, okay, for this function fx to be continuous in the closed interval a comma b, we have certain conditions. Obviously, first one. So how will you define a comma b? Closed interval a comma b, I can define it as, please understand this. Obviously, a should be there, plus a to b should be there, and plus b should be there. Means if I have to compare the closed interval a comma b to open interval a comma b, what's the difference, bacha? So a comma b should be there in this, but apart from a comma b, I should also have a and b, correct? So I should include a and b. Okay, so that's why now breaking down the continuity. So for when can I say the function fx is continuous in the closed interval a and b? First statement is it should be continuous in the open interval, correct, sir? Because open interval is part of this set, so this should be true. First thing is to sure it should be continuous in the open interval a and b. Also at this value a, my RHL should exist. Basically my limit should exist and should be equal to what? F of a. Obviously, na, if limit is existing, it means it has to be equal to f of a. The RHL, this is what, bacha? please check here. This is my RHL, right? A plus RHL. So at the point A, my RHL should exist and it should be equal to f of A. Means limit should exist. So the limit value should be at RHL should be equal to f of A. Please check here. Why I'm saying RHL? Because there is no way I can approach the value A from left. Can I? Can I approach this A from left? I cannot, right? Because any value on the left of A, will not be a part of the set A comma B. So let's say I write 1 comma 6 close interval. So can I approach this one from left? No sir, because that is not part of this interval here. If I take 0.9999, is it part of the interval? No sir, it is not. So I have to approach 1 from the right hand side. So I can take 1.00001 like this. So basically for the left, for this value A, RHL should exist and should be equal to what? The limit value or the function's value. Forgive me, the RHL should exist and should be equal to the function's value at the same point A. So what is the value here? A. So RHL I can have, and it should be equal to f of A. What about this value for B? Please check for B. For B, I cannot have RHL because outside of B, nothing is in the set. So I have to take what? LHL. I can approach B. If let's say example 6 I've taken. I cannot have 6.000001. I cannot have this, but I can have 5.99999 like that. I can have 5.9999 like this. This will be a part of the set. Okay. So 5.99 I can take, but not 6.000. So I can approach this number 6 or the variable here B from the left hand side. So what is the condition? The left hand limit. What is this, bacha? This is my left hand limit. So left hand limit should be equal to the function's value at B. So basically what it means? It means limit should be existing at this point also. Okay. So I will summarize it. Let me erase this extra part. I'll summarize it. Just 1 second. So the question was, what was the question? The question was to consider when can I say a given function fx is continuous in a closed interval AB. So first was what? Obviously it has to be continuous in open interval AB. Second, at A, RHL, the limit, the RHL value should be equal to the function value at A. Okay, because I cannot approach A from the left, only from right I can approach, only from the right side I can approach. So at A, RHL should be equal to f of A. Basically the limit should exist for A. Correct, right? The limit should exist for A and it should be equal to function's value at A. So what it means? It should be continuous at A. Correct? And what about B? The left hand limit should be existing and should be equal to f of B. So basically it means the function fx has to be continuous at B. So summarizing it, f of x should be continuous A to B, should be continuous in the interval A to B, and also continuous at point A and at point B. That's what it means, na? What is the statement means? This means continuous at A, and what it means? Continuous at B. Correct, right? Continuous at A and continuous at B. Please understand this. Correct, no? If limit is equal to the function's value at B means continuity is existing. Obviously we cannot find the right hand limit over here, but even the left hand limit is existing, right? So we will see a question on this. Okay, please check. This question I took, remember, limit of 1 upon greater integer of x when x tends to 1. Remember this? I drew a small graph over here. I hope you remember this. So this was like this. This was my 1, 0, 2, 3. This is my 1 and 2. Okay. So please check. So any value, I'm talking about this point, right? Any value before 1, what will happen, bacha? Please check. If I take any value before 1, this will become 0, right? So for example, I'm taking what? 0.999999 like this. Okay. What is the answer for this? Simply 0. Because greatest integer function of 0.999 is 0 only. But can I have the denominator as 1 by 0? I cannot have, right? So it means this is not part of the domain. And from where and where it will happen? It will happen from 0 to 0.999999 like this. I cannot define that point, but I can simply write it as 0 inclusive to 1 exclusive. Correct? Means from 0 to 1, I cannot have this value as the domain. So if I'm writing the domain of this function, if I'm writing this, I got the domain as all real number minus 0 and 1. Okay, 1 was not included, 1 was open. Please remember here, because I can put 1, no? I can put 1 as my number, 1 upon GIF of 1, which is simply 1 upon 1. So it is existing in nature, correct? I cannot have 0 to 1, all the numbers lying between 0 to 1. So if you don't remember like this, I actually wrote in the previous session like this, minus infinity to 0, open, union, 1 to infinity. Remember this, 1 to infinity. Alright, let me erase this extra part. Now I'll show you how the limit was existing in this case. I did a question. So we are looking for the limit value and we'll say it is a continuous function. Please check. Please check. Okay, sir. So if I find the limit at 1, bacha, at limit at 1. So what we do for LHL? For LHL I do 1 minus. For 1 minus is not part of the domain only, na? 1 minus, is there something between 1 and 0? So 1 minus not in domain. So LHL does not exist. Okay. So for this to be true, what we are taking? Only RHL. So if I take 1 plus, what happened? I can take this value as going to be what, bacha? So at 1 plus, for any value, for example 1.0000001, what will happen to this function? 1 upon 1.0000001 will become 1 upon 1, which is simply 1. So what is my RHL value? My RHL over here is simply 1. What about my f of 1? What about my f of 1? F of 1 will be, function is this, right? So 1 upon 1, simply 1. Okay, so what we are getting, please check here. We are getting what, bacha? That function limit when x tends to, what is it? 1. From which side? From the right hand side. Plus, no, I cannot go from left, only from the right hand side. This is simply equal to f of 1, right? Isn't that the condition for the closed interval? Please check, this is the closed interval, no? So that's the condition. For the left hand side values, the condition is for plus. Please check here. For the left hand side value a, the condition is for plus. I hope this is clear now. Too many lines drawn here. So I hope this is clear. Alright, sir. Okay. Alright, sir. So this was the example we took, and few important notes, bacha, about the discontinuity and continuity. So a function fx is said to be continuous if it is continuous at each and every point in domain. Means for the given domain, remember in this question, for the given domain, similarly for every question there will be a domain, no? So I'm not saying this is continuous or not, I'm not talking about that. I took this example to explain you how this interval thing works. This example was to explain you how this interval thing works, not about continuity. Okay, so how to apply the interval concepts to check the continuity, I just used this question to explain you that part. Okay, I hope you understand that. I'm not talking about the continuity of that point. Okay, so please check here. For function fx to be continuous, it should be continuous in its entire domain. What about? So a function which is continuous in entire real line. This is a real number line, no? Minus infinity to plus infinity. Then I can say it is continuous everywhere. Of course, right? For all real numbers, it's continuous. Then I can say simply it is continuous everywhere. What about this one? If it is, how can I say when a function is discontinuous? Even if it is discontinuous at a single point in the domain. Okay, so even if it is discontinuous at a single point in the interval, means if I take an interval a to b, let's say, and there's a point c somewhere between a and b where the function is given as, and the function is coming as discontinuous, then the function will be discontinuous at the entire interval. Okay, if let's say I have a point c which is between a and b, this is point C बच्चा, this is a point C between A and B, where at function is, this function fx at C is what bachcha, is discontinuous, So if this is true, then I can simply say that the function is discontinuous in the entire interval. Means for the continuity to exist, it should be continuous at every single point. Not even one point can be excluded from here. The last point, the set of all points where function is continuous is said to be domain of continuity. Means wherever, for all the points where the function is continuous, if you make a set out of it, that's called your domain of, continuity. Let's move on. Okay, now simply I'll read it out. Okay, this is for some given functions, what is going to be their continuity interval, means where we can call this function fx to be continuous, please check. So for the function, constant function, again, what about this? I can write this y as 2. How will the graph look like, bacha? Simply this, no? Always continuous, right? Always continuous. So we don't have to worry about the continuity of that. It is continuous all real numbers, What about next one? What's the next one? It's a linear function. Fx equals to, again, y equals to x. Again, all real. Y equals to x is a straight line, no? Straight line is always continuous. Whether you take like this, wherever you take, straight line is always continuous. Correct? Okay, sir. Next one is a polynomial function, okay, of this order, any order actually, n minus 1. So again it is always continuous. Why, sir? If I take quadratic like this, cubic like this, okay, if I keep going on and making the changes, so any function I take, I will have this always continuous, sir. So even for my polynomial function, it is always continuous. What about next one? Rational function, means there is a function in this form. So obviously this has to be true. Qx cannot be equal to 0. So you have to remove everything, like everything will be there in the domain apart from the 0. So it is continuous everywhere except for the 0. Okay. So that is the interval where it is continuous. I hope you understand this. What about modulus function, bacha? What about modulus function? Y equal to mod x. How will the graph look like for this? The graph will be like this. Correct. So again continuous, now every point it is continuous. Correct. So all real number. For this also all real number. Okay, all real numbers, sir. For modulus function, again the graph will be continuous for all real functions. The function is continuous for all real functions. What about this exponential function, x power minus n? Again continuous except for 0. Why 0? Because if you write like this, it will become what? 1 upon x power n. If you take x as 0, it will become 1 upon 0. So not defined only, na? So 0 has to be excluded from the interval. 0 is not part of the interval. Except for 0, everywhere it will be continuous. Except for 0, everywhere it will be continuous. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. What about next one? Sin, cos, ex, all real, right? If you remember the graph of sin x, cos x, again everywhere it is continuous, right? There is no break in the function. What about e power x? E power x will look like this, either this or this. Both of them are continuous. So sin x, cos x and e power x, all of are continuous. Okay, sin x, cos x and e power x are continuous over all real numbers, What about tan x and sec x? Whenever it is becoming, the denominator is 0, so at pi by 2 what will happen? It will be infinity, no? This will approach infinity. So that's why all real numbers except for the odd multiple of pi by 2. Why odd, sir? Please check. 2n is even plus 1. Odd plus, sorry, even plus something number is 2n is even plus 1. So even plus 1 will be what? Odd. So this is representing odd multiple. So all real numbers except for odd multiple. Why, sir? Remember this. Tan pi by 2 is what, bacha? Infinity, no? Similarly, tan 3 pi by 2, tan 5 pi by 2, tan 7 pi by 2, all the odd multiples of pi by 2, what will happen? Tan will approach infinity. So that's why the infinity, that odd multiple of pi by 2 is not part of the domain, okay? Or the interval where it is continuous. Please understand, tan pi by 2 or at odd multiple of pi by 2, the function will be 0, not defined. So that odd multiples is not part of the interval where the function is continuous. Please check here. Same for cos x. Same for sec x. What is sec x? It's 1 by cos, no? It's 1 by cos x. Now what will happen to cos x, bacha? What will happen to cos x? Add this multiple. Add this odd multiple. Please check here. At odd multiple, cos 90, cos 270. So all this angle, cos pi by 2, cos 3 pi by 2, cos 5 pi by 2, all this will happen what? Will make it to be 1 by 0. Again what? Approaching infinity. So sec x will also approach infinity at odd multiple of pi by 2. So for that reason, from the real number set, remove that odd multiples of pi by 2, where n is what? Integer. N is integer. N is z. Please understand this. Please understand this. Okay, very simple definition. Very simple definition. Not much is there. So again, let me remove this part. Moving on. Cot x and cosec x, again check for the denominator is 0. So it becomes 0 at n pi. At n pi this will be infinity. Okay. Okay. What about this? Cosec x remains same. I can write n pi as what? Even multiple of pi by 2 also. Even multiple of pi by 2. Why, sir? Because if I write even multiple of pi by 2, bacha, if I take n as even, let's say 2 I take. 2 into pi by 2 will be what, bacha? Pi. I can take 3. I can take 4 pi. 4 pi by 2 will be what, bacha? So 2 times 2. So again 2 pi. So even multiple of pi by 2 I can consider. I can write this as even multiple of pi by 2. So every value in real number set except for the even multiple of pi by 2, not visible. Let me write so it is visible. Okay, I'll write it visible because it's important. So I'll write it here like this represents what, bacha? Even multiple of pi by 2. So just remove this part. Even multiple of pi by 2 should be removed from the real number set and the function will be continuous everywhere else. Okay, I hope you understand this. Okay, I hope you understand this. So for cot and cosec, remove the even multiple of pi by 2 from the real number set. Next, moving on to log x. Log x is not defined for the negative values, so only 0 to infinity, right? If you look at the graph, okay, or if you look at like this, for both the graphs, only positive value is defined. 0 is not part of the answer, so 0 is open. Infinity you cannot close only. So 0 to infinity, it's the place where the function is. The logarithmic functions are continuous. The logarithmic functions are continuous over 0 to infinity, only for the non-zero part. Sorry, positive part, only for the positive part. Okay, not non-zero, positive part. ITF again in the domains. So I have done a detailed session for ITF. Right, please check the respective domains. In the respective domains, the functions of ITF will be continuous. Okay, sir. Composite functions, fog. This I explained, right? Fog is continuous at x equals to a if gx is continuous. And f of x is continuous at g of a, then I can say fog is continuous at x equals to a. Remember this? Gx is continuous at x equals to a, fx is continuous at g of a, then fog is continuous at x equals to a. Remember I wrote this, f of g of a. That's the right fog, no? So g is continuous at a and f is continuous at g of a, then I can say fog is continuous at a. Then I can say fog is continuous at a. Okay? Alright, sir. Okay, sir. This was simple, very simple. Moving on. Now types of discontinuity. So we learned, no, when can I, we learned the reasons. Like when can I say it is discontinuous, right? When the limit does not exist, either LHL or RHL or both. Second one was it exists but not equal to each other. Third one was what? It exists and equal but not equal to the function's value. So these were the three reasons for a function to be called discontinuous, right? Now over here we'll talk about types of discontinuity. There was the reasons for discontinuity. Over here we'll classify, from the reasons we'll classify our discontinuity type. So we know that first one is removable type of discontinuity. Means even though there is a discontinuity but it can be removed. How can I remove the discontinuity, bacha? Means if I can create a break in the function, if I can create, or not break, let me rephrase it, if I can define the function in a different way, means I can take a different approach to define a function, then obviously I can call the function to be continuous. So that type of functions is called as, or that type of function will be example for removable discontinuity. Okay, means the discontinuity can be removed by redefining the function, by please understand this. By redefining the function, I can remove the discontinuity. Okay, please read the definition. So limit of fx. Okay, now when will this be true? Okay, so again we learned that how to remove it. So I said that redefine the function. But what are the cases when I can call the function to be removable kind? Okay, so I just said right now, like how can they remove the discontinuity? So I said that answer is redefine the function. But now second question is, when can we say that the example of the question is a removable type? The example of the question of discontinuity is a removable type. How can we say that? So look at here. Whenever you have this, okay, LHL and RHL is equal to each other, LHL and RHL is equal to, but not equal to f of a. Please see this. LHL and RHL are equal to each other, means limit exists but not equal to f of a. Then I can say this type of discontinuity is removable discontinuity. Removable discontinuity means if I somehow make them equal, then I will be able to get it. So what is it? See here, the word is written here, redefining the point at x equals to a. So they're saying that if L1 is equal to L2, if L1 is equal to L2 but not equal to f of a. Remember this, for the continuity to be true, for the given function to be continuous, L1 and L2 should be equal, means limit should exist and that existing limit should be equal to the function value at a. Then only I can say the function is continuous, okay. But over here, the limit exists are equal, this third type. Remember this third type. Reasons for discontinuity. Where is it? Third type, sir. Third type, sir. Where is it? Yeah. Limit exist means this LHL and RHL both exist and both are equal also, but not equal to f of a, but not, may not be equal to f of a. That's what we are doing here. Please check. L1 and L2 are equal, means limit exists but not equal to f of a. When this type of discontinuity is there, we can remove it by redefining the function at point x equals to a. I've taken an example over here, a small example, to explain you how this goes. Achha, one more thing, I might be using some places differentiations. So if you have little bit concept of it, I'll tell you the reference, but if you don't realize it, if you don't understand it completely, when we go in the chapter in detail, we will learn it again. So right now just keep as it, like once I use the definition of the differentiation at points, please accept the answer, yes sir, this is true, and accept and take the solution. Alright, please check. So there is a function defined as y equal to sine of x by x, y equal to sine x by x at x tends to 0. Okay, so we are trying to say or check this, what type of discontinuity is there. So let's try to identify this. So first of all, f of 0 is what? Check here, f of 0, sine 0 will be 0 bacha, and this is 0. So again indeterminate form, correct? Then how can you define this? How can you define this? Please check. So limit, if I'm doing the limit value, okay, so this will be limit sine x by x, x tends to 0. Okay, now how to define this? If you have learned differentiation, then you will know this is standard form of trigonometric function, and write this is equal to 1. This is equal to 1. But how it comes? We can use a rule called as LH rules. Okay, LH rule, L Hospital's rule, LH rule. What it enables us, what this rules does or helps us with, it helps us to define an indeterminate form of this kind, okay, to using the differentiation technique. So we differentiate both numerator and denominator, and after that we will be able to eliminate the indeterminate form. Please check. So if I take the differentiation from here, I'll get what? Sin x differentiation will be cos x, and for x I will have 1. Sin x differentiation is cos x, for x I will have differentiation as 1. Now if you take this from LH rule, what will this become? By LH rule, this will be limit, what bacha? Cos x by 1 when x tends to 0. Please check here. This will become what? Simply cos 0 is nothing but 1. 1 by 1, answer is 1. So limit value is what? 1. So my LHL, if I find it out, LHL and RHL both will come as 1. Means this is true. This condition is true. But is not equal to f of a. Is not equal to f of a. So what I can do here is, I can redefine this function as y equals to sin x by x when x is not equal to what bacha? 0. Why 0? Please check here, because it was at 0 only. X is not equal to 0. And what about x equal to 0? What about x equal to 0? Simply write it as 1. So if I define it like this, Okay, if I define it like this, please check here. X equal to 0, value is 1. What about this? X not equal to 0. X not equal to 0, I will have two conditions. Other is x less than 0. Second one is x greater than 0. This is my LHL. This is my RHL. I've got the limit as 1. It means even though this is not equal to 0, I'm getting both the values are 1 only. So this will be same. This will be same thing. So I redefined this function. So this was the previously given definition, y equal to sin x by x. By redefining the function now as sin x by x when x is not equal to 0, and when x is equal to 0, function is 1. After defining it like this, the function is continuous, right? Please check here. At x not equal to 0, I have two conditions. One is less than 0, other is greater than 0. Less than 0 means left hand limit. Right hand 0 means right hand limit. I'm not finding it, but because I got the limit already as 1. Limit I'm saying it is existing and is equal to 1. It means even left hand limit will be 1 bacha and RHL will also be 1. So both condition when not equal to 0, what I'm getting answer as 1 only. So I have this not equal to 0 as 1 and this is also 1. So what is happening? The function is becoming continuous. Please check here. Equal to 0, it's 1. Not yet equal to 0, two conditions, both are equal to 1. So it means the function y is continuous. The function y is continuous. Okay. So over here there was a discontinuity because we are not able to find the value of sin x by x. But after redefining the function, okay, after redefining the function, I got this function to be continuous. So this is called as removable discontinuity. Let me erase some extra part so that it is readable. Okay, I can erase some extra parts here. Okay, all right. Okay, I hope this is enough. I hope you can read from here. All right, not a very messy. So I hope this is okay. Now next kind is non-removable discontinuity. So other two cases. What are the other two cases? So non-removable discontinuity of the first kind. So we have two cases, right? So we have total of three cases. So first we already took in the removable type. Other two cases are limit this value exists but not equal to each other. Limit exists but not equal to each other means again the function is discontinuous. Please understand. Limit exists for LHL and RHL. This is my what? This is my LHL. This is my RHL. So both of them are existing but not equal to each other. So again this will be a discontinuous function. Second one, both of them are not existing. Means LHL and RHL does not exist. Again the function will be discontinuous. Okay. So remember this. First kind will be both are existing. LHL and RHL both are existing but not equal. So discontinuous. LHL second kind is when LHL is not existing and RHL also not existing. So this is the second kind of discontinuity of which kind? Which category? The category is for non-removable type of discontinuity. Means if you have the situations, if the function itself, let's say the limit itself is not defined, then how will you remove the discontinuity? Think logically. If the limit is not defined, then how will you remove the discontinuity? Same way, they're not becoming equal to each other. Then how will you define the discontinuity? Same way, if the limit itself is not defined, then how will you again take this to be or able to remove the discontinuity? So you cannot redefine and remove it. I've taken example. So please check. The question is, does the following function has a removable discontinuity or jump? Jump is also another name for non-removable. Okay, non-removable discontinuity at point x equals to 1. Please check here. So again what I'm going to do, first thing is to find LHL, next is to find RHL. So find LHL and RHL, correct? And then check if they are equal to each other and that is equal to the value of the function, then it will be, if LHL is equal to RHL and should be equal to f of 1 also, then only I can say the function is continuous. This is my ultimate point. Okay, what is the removable type? These are equal but not equal to this. That is the removable type. So let's check the conditions. Let's find LHL first. So LHL will be using with, I am finding at 1. So before 1 I have to find out less than equal to 1. Less than equal to 1 means before 1. So I have to use the x value. Is there indeterminate form here? No sir. X plus 2 is not indeterminate form. No. Put x equals to 1 here. What I'm going to get for LHL? X plus 2. So it will become what? 2 plus 1 simply 3. So LHL is 3. What about RHL? I have to use the greater than sign because at this is 1. RHL will come from here. So greater than 1. So I will use what? X minus 2. Please check. X minus 2. What is my x value? 1, sir. X value is 1. Put it here. How much is that? -1. So I can simply say LHL exists. LHL exists. RHL again exists, but LHL is not equal to RHL. This is which category? Please check here. LHL exists, RHL exists but not equal to each other. Means of first kind. Non-removable type of discontinuity of first kind. What is the answer? Non-removable kind of discontinuity. Discontinuity. Non-removable type of discontinuity. Okay. I hope this is readable. Also called as jump discontinuity. Simple. Simple, sir. Can we move on, sir? Yes, sir. We can move on. Now, so I hope you understood this. What we have learned so far. Definitions of continuity. Reasons for continuity and discontinuity. Types of discontinuity and continuity, and some properties also. Okay, and then we also learned algebraic operations on the continuity and difference and discontinuity. Okay, sorry, on continuity. So means f of x is defined at a, f of g of x is continuous at a, then f plus g, f minus g, f into g, and f divided by g provided g is not equal to 0. And we also we also saw some intervals for the various function where it is continuous. So this much is the concept part only. Now moving on to problem solving. Let's see how the questions will look like. So this is having 2 parts. So this will be, this I'll do. You do this as homework. So what is the question here? Check the continuity. Check the continuity. So I'll do for this part. This you do and tell me. Okay. In the comment section you comment below whether it is continuous or not. Please check. I'll do the first part. What it says, bacha? It says fx equals to sin x plus cos x. Please check here. For the continuity, what is the condition that we know? F of a. L1 and L2 should be equal and should be equal to f of a. Okay, sir. Let's take the value a only. We'll take this. They've not given any x value. There's no 1, 2, 3, something like that. So I'll take any arbitrary value a. So what will be my fa value? Let's find that. F of a will be simply sin a plus cos a. Sin a plus cos a. So now we'll try to find out our, so f of a we got. We'll try to find out our L1, L2. What is L1? LHL, L2, RHL. Let's find LHL. How will I find LHL, bacha? For LHL, what I do? I replace this x by a minus h. Okay, a minus h. Remember this? A minus h. Correct, sir? Okay, and then h will tend to 0. So I can rewrite this as the function limit as limit f of a minus h, h tends to 0. Now apply this in the function. This will look like this, bacha. Limit f of a minus h will be wherever I have x. This was f of x. Wherever I have x, replace it with a minus h. So it will become limit sin a minus h, not b. Looks like b. I'll erase and rewrite it. So sin a minus h plus cos a minus h, where h tends to 0. Okay, now let's try to expand this part over here. Okay, forgive me. Expand this part here. So this will look like, bacha, my LHL only. I'm doing for LHL only. This will look like limit h tends to 0. I can do the expansion for a sin a minus b. This will look like what, bacha? Please check. Sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. B is my h, so I'm taking everywhere cos b as cos h. Here sin b as sin h. This is only for the first part. Let's do for the second part also. So plus sin cos a minus b. Cos A minus B is cos A cos B minus sin A sin B. So I'll get it as cos A cos H minus sin A and sin H. Correct? Sin A minus sin H, cos A cos B, sin A sin B. Please continue here. Next step. Now I'll put H as 0 everywhere. So I'll get sin A cos 0 degree, or simply cos 0 I can write. Okay, 0 degree only, but let's write cos 0, no problem. And minus cos A sin 0 plus cos A cos 0 minus sin A sin 0. Right? Yes, yes sir. Please check. Sin 0 is 0. So this whole thing will become equal to 0. Sin 0 is 0. So sin anything multiplied with 0 will be 0. Same way over here also. Sin 0 is 0. So this whole thing will become equal to 0. What I have left now? Cos 0 is 1. Cos 0 is 1. So cos 0 is 1 means I'll get over here this as sin A only. Correct. Now cos 0 is 1. So this is simply sin A. Here also cos 0 is again 1. So this is simply sin cos A. So what is the sign here? Plus sign. So plus cos A. What is this bacha? My LHL. My LHL. Please check here. Please check here. This is my LHL only, right? I got LHL as sin A plus cos A. And please check here. I got this also sin A plus cos A. Sin A plus cos A. Means, okay, one part is clear, sir. L1 is equal to f of A. Let's check for L2. Let's check for L2. How will I solve for L2, bacha? For L2, what I'm going to do? I have to do what? RHL. For RHL, what is the substitution? X is substituted by A plus H. So write the function. So limit f of x when x tends to A can be modified as limit f of A plus H where h tends to 0. Am I right? What is the function now? Please check here. So I can write this as limit s tends to 0 sine of A plus H plus cos of A plus H. Yes or no? Cos of A plus H. Please check here. Move forward. Sine of A plus B, same thing. Sine A cos B, B is my H, plus cos A sine B, B is my H. Same way over here, plus sine. Cos of A plus H will be cos A cos B plus sine A sine B. Cos A cos B. Okay. This was cos A minus B, right? I took the value wrong. Oh, this is plus, okay? This is 0, so it came same, but this is not minus, this is plus. This is cos of A minus B, no? So this will be cos A cos B plus sin A sin B, not minus, okay? So since it was 0, it did not affect our answer, but let's not write anything incorrect. Here it is what? Cos of A plus H. So this will be what, bacha? Cos A cos H minus sin A sin H. How do you understand this? Cos A plus B, cos A cos B plus minus sin A sin B. Let's write it here. Let's put the H value everywhere. I'll get here as sin A cos 0 plus cos A sin 0. In the next step over here, cos A cos 0 over here minus sin A sin 0. Correct? I have replaced everywhere H as 0 because that's the limit condition. Okay, so this is going to be 1, this is going to be 0, so whole thing is 0, sin 0 is 0, so whole thing is 0. Over here this is going to be 1, so this will be cos A, this will be 0, so whole thing is 0. Simplify this please. You get here what? Sin A, this is 0, this is cos A plus cos A. So what is this RHL you got? You got RHL as sin A plus cos A. So simply we got L1, which is LHL, equals to RHL equals to f of A. So the function is big time continuous. Please check. The function is continuous. First one is continuous. Second one is homework. Please solve this. I'll move on to the next one. Hope this is visible. Okay, sir. Let's solve. Question number 3. Okay, this is the simplest question ever. Why simplest question, sir? Because there is no indeterminate form. How come you say, sir? Put x equals to 2, na? If you do that, what are you gonna get? 8. So it's not indeterminate. So we have to find LHL. Let's find LHL, bacha. So they're saying continuous, right? They're saying continuous. Continuous means they're saying the given function is continuous. It means what? The limit L1 will be equal to L2 will be equal to f of 2. They're asking us to find the value of f of 2, right? So f of 2 is nothing but L1, L2. So basically it's going to be limit of fx at x equals to 2 is equal to f of 2. Correct? Correct. What is limit of fx? I can write here like this. Limit of fx is nothing but x cube. Limit of x cube when x tends to 2 is equal to f of 2. What is going to be? 2 power 3. So it's going to be 8 equals to f of 2. What's the answer? 8. Option D. Option D. Now you might think that there is no need of this, no? There is a need, bacha. What will happen? No, in this case there was no indeterminate form, so we got it directly. But if there was indeterminate form, no? If there was indeterminate form, then you have to make the changes over here. That's why use the statement. That's why we have to use the statement. In this question, I can directly put 2 as x. So 2 cube will be 8. Answer will be same. But if there was a indeterminate form present here, then I have to find the limit. Then only I can say f of 2 is equal to like that. Okay? I understand. I hope you understand that. This question was easier because no indeterminate form, right? But if it is, please use this condition. Please use this condition. Moving on. Okay? All right. Okay. If fx is continuous for all x where? Acha, fx is defined over here. For x not equal to 2, it's this given expression, rational expression, and x equals to 2 is like this. Acha, one very good thing is that they have given continuous only. It means basically what it means that L1 will be equal to L2 will be equal to f of 2. F of 2, right? F of 2. Correct, na? Correct, right? L1 equal to LHL equal to RHL equals to f of 2. Yes, sir. You're right, sir. So they're asking us to find k value. Okay? Okay, means we have to get an equation from here somehow and find the k value. No problem. Now please check. Please check first of all. If it is continuous, it means if I get LHL value from here, okay, and RHL value from here, it will be equal to k, because f of 2, please check here, f of 2 is k only, no? Replace x as 2 over here. So f of 2 is how much? F of 2 is simply k. Please check. F of 2 is simply k. Yes, sir. Agreed. Okay. So basically, if I can find out L1 and L2 or the limit value, my job is done. Now, so in the limit part, I have to use this. I hope you understand that. Because not equal to 2 means what, bacha? Means I can approach this 2 from left side or right side. Not equal to 2 means less than 2 or greater than 2. Okay. So for the limiting value, for the LHL and RHL, I have to use this definition only, the big rational definition only. Okay, sir. This much is clear, sir. First, we need to use the limits. Second, we need to use this expression for the limit part. Third, now, what is creating the, now please check for indeterminate form. And let's check what is creating this indeterminate form. So, if put x as 2. This will be what, bacha? 8 plus 4 minus 32 plus 20. Please check. 2 we have put. 2 cube is 8, 2 square is 4. 16 into 2 is 32 and 20 divided by this simply 0 square, right? 2 minus 2 is 0 square. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 20 is 32. So this is also 0. What is the form here? 0 by 0. So forget about numerator right now. This, if you see, isn't this the reason of our discomfort? So our discontinuity is coming, this infinity or this indeterminate form 0 by 0 is coming for one reason, which is x minus 2 presence in the denominator. If somehow I can eliminate this x minus 2 the whole square, I don't have to eliminate only x minus 2. Remember this, there's a whole square. Here. Please check. There's a whole square here. So I cannot just eliminate x minus 2. I have to eliminate x minus 2 the whole square. So if I can somehow eliminate this, which I have to. Why? Because the function is given continuous. It means limit should exist. Please check. The function fx is given continuous. Means limit of this function is existing. Means L1 and L2 will exist. For it to exist means I must have a way to divide or take this out. means basically my numerator, if you check here, my numerator will have this as factor. Correct na? If I look at this numerator, this big number and numerator, and this x minus 2 the whole square, I can write this numerator as something x minus 2 the whole square times something by x minus 2 the whole square. I have to write. There will be a case like this, so I can cancel these two and then I can find the limit value. Please check. Since the limit is existing, means this has to be some way, there has to be some way to convert this indeterminate form to a determinate form. And how can I do that? How can I do that? By removing this from the denominator. And how can I remove this denominator? By rewriting this numerator in this form, x minus 2 the whole square times something, so that I can cancel this 2 and I'll have something left which can be substituted for x as 2. So basically what I'm trying to say here, what I'm trying to make a point here, that I can write this numerator as x minus 2 whole square times something. Means I'm trying to say that x minus 2 whole square should be a factor. Please understand this. X minus 2 whole square should be a factor of numerator. That's what my conclusion was. X minus 2 the whole square is a factor of numerator. Yes or no? Yes, right? Means to remove this indeterminate form, I have to cancel this out. Since I am cancelling this out, means this has to be written in the factor form. So basically, x minus 2 the whole square is a factor of numerator, sir. Yes. So let's quickly look at this. So x minus 2 the whole square will look like this, bacha. Will look like this: x square minus 4x plus 4. Correct? Expansion, a minus b the whole square, x square minus 4x plus 4. Now this will be a what? A factor of the numerator. What's the numerator? Please write the numerator here. X cube x square minus 16x plus 20. X cube plus x square minus 16x plus 20. Factor means I can divide it by what? X square minus 4x plus 4. Sir, why are you teaching the 8th grade method? Because sometimes 8th grade methods are easier to do. People look at the long division method and think it is difficult, but not it is. Not in this case. Please check. Multiply with x. Why x, sir? Because we have to take care only the first term, rest all will take care of itself. So I'll write it here: x cube minus 4x square, right? Plus 4x. Take the sign change, please. So minus plus minus goes out. What is this? This is my 5x square. This is my minus. Sorry, I made a mistake or something. X times 4, right? Okay, correct. Minus 20, no? Minus 16 minus 4, minus 20x, right? And plus 20. Plus 20. Now please here add plus 5. Why plus 5, sir? Why plus 5, sir? Because 5 into x square will make 5 square. 5x square. I want that only. Minus 20x plus 20. Please make the sign change. Minus plus minus goes away. Goes away. It means I am getting x plus 5 as my factor. So I can rewrite this function now, which was given here, as x cube minus x cube plus x square minus 16x plus 20 upon x minus 2 the whole square. I can rewrite this as x minus 2 the whole square times x plus 5 upon x minus 2 the whole square, right? This thing I got, no? Multiply these two, I'll get this part, right? Quotient into divisor will be equal to dividend, right? So this into this will be equal to this. Cancel this please here. What is the answer now? X plus 5. So simply I got my function. This function, I can replace this whole thing. By what? X plus 5, right? By x plus 5, right? Please understand this. Okay? I can replace this whole thing as x plus 5, right? I don't need the indeterminate form here. I hope you understood how it is indeterminate. So I'm erasing this extra part. Okay. So I got, what did I get, bacha? That this is x plus 5. So if I have to find L1 or my LHL, will you what? I have to use this one. So I'll write limit fx, x tends to 2. Yes or no? How much is that? Simply x plus 5 or not? Guys, this is x plus 5 I got. Please check here. I got this function simplified in the form of x plus 5. One way to do is factorize this. If you don't want to do the division method, factorize this numerator and then you can divide this. Because factors you will get x minus 2 only. You can reach this point by factorizing also, right? I use the division method. I find this is easier, okay? And not easier, this is, you know, like a certain answer, like I will not make any mistake while doing that, okay? So for that reason I choose the division method. You can choose factorization also. If you're good at factorization, please proceed with that and get the right answer, okay? So x plus 5, put here 2, there is no indeterminate form, so answer will be 7. What about L2? Same thing. This I am approaching from minus side, so it will be same thing only. I can do 2 minus 0, no need, na? No need, right? If you want, I can do it like this. I have to do what, bacha? For 2 minus 1, approaching from left hand side, I have to do what? H tends to 0, and this will be what? X minus h, na? This will be x minus h. X minus h. So this will be what, bacha? Basically 2 minus 0. 2 minus 0 plus 5. How much is that? 7 only. Same way, I'll do this. H tends to 0 from the L2 side, from RHL. I'll get this as f of x plus h. This will be simply what? 2 plus 0 plus 5. How much is that? Again 7. Again 7. Okay. So my L1 and L2 are what? My L1 is equal to L2 is equal to 7. Please see here. Now they are saying function is continuous. They are saying function is continuous. It means what? L1 is equal to L2 is equal to f of 2. Right? Right? Correct? So what is f of 2? K. What is f of 2? K. So I can write it here. Here only I can write equals to f of 2, which is nothing but k. So I got value of k as 7. Value of k, because this f of 2 is k, so k is equal to L1 L2, so 7. Option A. Option A is my correct answer. Option A is my correct answer. I hope you understood, right? I took a little extra time, but I wanted to explain this concept to you. That's why I took some time. I hope this is visible. Not too much mark. Should I erase some extra things? Okay, sir, I'll erase this. I've written it twice, so I'll erase this also. Okay. Let me erase this. So should be readable by you, right? Should be readable by you. I hope this is clear. Not required now. Correct? What I'm trying to do, making the numerator as factorized form, so I can eliminate the undetermined or indeterminate form from here. So not required part. This is the solution that you have. Okay, moving to the next question. fx is continuous at x equals to 0. Okay, all right. Now this we are using here, the form f by g form. Okay, you'll see. Okay, we'll not use directly, but you'll see how I'm trying to use the limits for the f by g separately. So my function is what, bacha? E power 5x minus e power 2x upon sine 3x. For not equal to 0 means I can approach 0 from right and left over here. Means both L1 and L2, I have to use this function only. For at equal to 0 it is k. At equal to 0 it's k. We have to find the value of k. Same question. Similar question. Very similar question. I could have given it to you to solve, but I have taken this question so that you know there's different type of functions involved. How to deal with it. For that reason I have taken this question. Okay. Alright. Let's simplify this. So if I'm doing for L1, how will this look like? Limit. Okay. Or simply I can do just limit, no? I don't have to do for L1. I can do just simply limit. Why to use that? Simply limit if I'm trying to find. Because obviously for L1 and L2 will be same. So if I can find the limit value, that's also is okay. So let's say find the limit. So limit x tends to 0, okay, e power 5x minus e power 2x upon sine 3x. I hope you understand, right, why I did not take L1. Because if I took this, I will become 0 plus h. Again 0 plus 0. No, not required. X is 0, right? So not required. So let's take something common, which is e power 2x. E power 2x is common. What's there left now? E power 3x minus 1, okay, upon sine 3x. Again the limit. Okay. They have given, bacha. They have given the function is continuous, okay. So please remember this. They have given the function continuous means I will take this condition again. Limit L1 equals to L2 equals to f of 0. F of 0. So means I'll find the limit value. This 2 represents what? My limit value only, no? So if I find the limit value and put it equal to k, because f of 0 is what? This is nothing but f of 0, right? So I'll put it equal to k. So I'll find the limit value and put it equal to k, nothing else. Now please check. I'm getting some standard form of limits here, if you remember. So let me write it over here. What was this? I got something like this, I remember, limit x tends to 0, e power 2x, and I got here as e power 3x minus 1 upon sine 3x. Am I right? Yes sir, you're right sir. Alright, moving on. So let's make some adjustment here. So limit x tends to 0, e power 2x, so it'll become what, bacha? Please check, e power 3x minus 1 upon, if I do 3x here, okay, then I have to multiply 3x over here also. Correct, right? Then only I can cancel each other, no? So I am trying to make some adjustment over here so that I'll get a standard form of exponential function and trigonometric function. Same way I can do it here also. Please understand. Sine 3x was there in the denominator, so I wrote 3x as it is. Okay, this is not alpha, this is x. So I wrote x as it is, sine, and then I'm going to club this together. Let's check what happens. Write this as limit x tends to 0, e power 2x will remain as it is. I'll keep this as it is. Okay, one more time what I'm going to do, I'll take it as 1 upon sine 3x by 3x. I can do that, no? I can divide this on the numerator. Even if you simplify this, will go back to the 3x. Okay, now please check the standard forms. You know this, sir, limit of sine x by x when x tends to 0 is how much? 1. One more condition for the exponential function, limit of e power x minus 1 upon x when x tends to 0 is 1. Okay, so this will be 1 and this will also be 1. So there are 3. I can take here a also, no? So I can take here is ax, here also ax, no problem, okay, no problem. So both of them are true, both these conditions are true. Even if it is a is there or not, the condition will remain true only. Okay, so I'll get what? Limit x tends to 0, e power 2x, how much is that? Simply e power 2 times of 0, how much is that? E power 0, how much is that? 1. So I got my limit L1 equals to L2 equals to what? 0. And for this to be continuous should be equal to f of 2, right? For it to be continuous should be equal to f of, not 2, forgive me, f of 0, right? Why it's 0, sir? In this case we are finding at 0 only, no? Finding at 0 only, right? So what is f of 0? K. F of 0 is k. So I can write this as k. What is my k value then? One more mistake, this is not 0, this is 1. So what is my k value? 1. Limits are equal to 1, so f of 0, which is nothing but k, is also equal to 1. Option D. Option D is my correct answer. Hope you understood this. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, 6th one. Okay, all right, again, okay, over here there's a difference. For LHL I will use this, and for RHL I will use this. Why, sir? Because greater than symbol. So for this I have to use this, for L1 I have to use this. They're saying it is continuous at x equal to 0. Simple question, very simple question. Let's check how it is going to work. So they're saying here, bacha, for x less than 0, the function is defined in such a way, k times of x square minus 2. For x greater than 0, function is defined as 4x plus 1. Okay, sir. Sahi hai? Okay, sir. So for L2, greater than 0 means, greater than 0 is this area. So I will approach RHL from which area? From greater than 0 side. So 4x plus 1 I will use for RHL. For LHL, which is L1, I will use from which side? Left hand side. So I will use which function? K times of x square minus 2. So let's do for LHL and RHL separately. Okay. And for it to be continuous, it means both of these has to be equal to each other. Do I need to find using the indeterminate form and all? No, sir. Put x as 0, it will be simply k into minus 2. So minus 2k. There is no indeterminate form. In both the conditions, there is no indeterminate form. This is not there in any of this condition. Indeterminate form is not there in any of these conditions. I hope you understand this. Okay. Okay, sir. We understood this, right, sir? Yes, sir. Not indeterminate. This is going to be 4. So simply 1 minus 2k. So let's do that. Let's find L1. L1 will be what, bacha? Limit of k times of x square minus 2, where x tends to 0. Simply I'll get it as k k times of 0 minus 2, 0 minus 2 will be nothing but minus 2k. This is my L1. What about L2, sir? L2 will be what, sir? Limit of x tends to 0. Okay, this is minus and plus. I'm not doing that, okay, because not relevant in this case, not required in this case. So 4x plus 1, I'm not doing 0 plus and 0 minus h. 0, no, so no need. So I can go ahead and write this as 4 times of 0 plus 1, simply 1. Simply 1. For this to be continuous, for it to be, for it, we know fx is continuous. For that reason, L1 is equal to L2 is equal to f of 0. So L1 and L2 is what? Minus 2k and 1. So write it here. Minus 2k equal to 1. From here we can get k equals to minus 1 by 2 or not. Option number D. Option number D is my correct answer. Simple, very simple problem. Okay, please move on. Next question, 7th one. Okay, sir. Sir, here the function is defined very complicatedly, right? Is it very defined very complicated? Please check. Maybe, but looks simple to me. Let's check. So I have to find out the limits here at 2 points where, bacha, 2 points. At point 1 and at point root 2. At point 1 and point root 2. So I have to evaluate L1 for 1, L2 for 1, L1 for root 2, L2 for root 2. Means one's LHL for this, one's RHL for this, one LHL for this, one RHL for this. Correct? I have to evaluate that. Why? Because there's a break, no? At 1 we can go left and I can go right over here. Again same thing, I can go left and right over here. Alright. Please check. So how will this look like? Okay, sir. First of all, there are two variables here. Read the question. The function is given as continuous. Good thing for us. Function is given continuous from where to where? 0 to infinity. 0 to infinity. Okay, sir. But this is not a one function. There's a multiple functions like undefined. There's a break in the function like this. So for this part, the function is given by x square by a. For this part, function is given by a. For this part, the function is given by 2b square minus 4b upon x square. 2b square minus 4b upon x squared for the last part. Okay. They are asking us to find the most suitable values of a and b. They've given the options, so we'll make use of options over here also. Okay. We'll try, we'll see, we'll reach, when we reach that point, we will see. Okay, sir. So let's define for 1 first. At 1, we'll define the L1. So is there an indeterminate form over here? Please check. If you put x equals to 1. So it's 1 by a, no? So not indeterminate. Please check here. If I put x equals to 1, it will be 1 square by a. So simply 1 by a, so not indeterminate. What about our RHL side? Simply a, so not indeterminate. So I don't have to do anything here. Simply take. So at 1, at x equals to 1, or not x equals to 1, let's write it in our form. X tends to 1. I'll get L1 as what, bacha? I'll get L1 as limit x square by a when x tends to 1 from left hand side. How much is that going to be? 1 by a, simply 1 by a. What about L2, bacha? What about L2? Same way we'll do limit, what, bacha? What's the function definition? A. So limit a when x tends to 1 plus, please check. For 1 minus, I have to take the function definition which is defined there, no, for left hand side. For 1 plus, I have to check which definition? Where it's defined for after 1. So after 1, this is the value after 1 and 1. So I have to take the value a here. So there's no variable only. So I will go what? Write it as a. What's the condition? Continuous at a, no? It's saying continuous at entire domain, 0 and infinity. Means the given function fx is continuous at entire domain. In the entire domain, 0 to infinity. It means that at 1 also it will be continuous. So it means L1 and L2 will be equal to each other. The function is continuous in 0 to infinity, means continuous at 1 also. So L1 equal to L2. So 1 by a equal to 1 by a equal to a. Please check here. 1 by a equal to a, basically a square equal to 1. So basically a equal to plus minus 1. A equal to plus minus 1. Please check. So I don't have an option where plus minus 1 is there. So either plus or minus, but which one to take? They're saying no, most suitable value you have to pick out. Most suitable value you have to pick out. Okay. Please let me erase some extra part here. Here. Alright. Now moving on to which point? X tends to root 2. Please check here. Next point is when x tends to root 2. Let's find my L1 again. Same approach we'll have. L1 will be what, bacha? X tends to root 2. L1 will be simply A. Please check. At root 2 left side, root 2 left side is A. Correct, na? On the left hand side of the root will be a value less than root 2. So X is less than root 2 means A. So I will take this approach. Limit of A when X tends to root 2 from left side, answer is simply A, right, bacha? Because there's no X. There's no X. So answer is simply A. Simply A. Okay. What about L2, sir? What about L2, sir? For L2, which will be from the right hand side, for RHL. So I have to use this expression. 2b square minus 4b upon x square. 2b square minus 4b upon x square, and I will apply limit to this when x tends to root 2 from positive side. 2b square minus 4b upon x square, correct? From which side? L2, right? From right side. From the right side. Okay, sir. Is there indeterminate form here also? Please check. No, sir. If I put x as root 2, it will become simply 4. So not indeterminate form. Not 4. Simply 2 will be denominator. So simplify this, please. I get 2b square minus 4b upon 2. Root 2 square. X square is what? Root 2 square. So what will that be? Simply 2. Simply 2. Please check. Yes. Now cancel this 2 with this with 2 times. What I get? This L2 as b square minus 2b, right, bacha? Simplify this as b times of b minus b minus 2. Okay, L2. What is my L1, bacha? L1 is A. Now they are saying the function fx is continuous in the interval 0 to infinity. It will be continuous at root 2 also. So we know that fx is continuous at x equals to root 2. It means N1 will be equal to L2 again. So which means what? L1 is what? A equal to b times of b minus 2. B times of b minus 2. Now I know A and B, my A values, either plus or minus 1. Let's check for B value. So what are my options here? 2, minus 1, 1. Please check for 2 first. Check for 2 first. If I take B as 2, this will be what, bacha? B times of 2 minus 2. So 0. So when B is 2, A has to be 0. Correct, na? This whole thing will be 0. So A is 0. Please check. B is 2, A is 0. So not possible, sir. Because when B is 2, coming A as 1. So not possible, sir. First one is not correct. Next value, B is minus 1. Please check B is minus 1. So if I take this from here again, A equals to B times of minus 1 minus 2. How much is that will be? Minus 3, right? So something with 3. So this A will come as minus 1 into minus 3 will be simply 3. So when B is minus 1, A should be 3. Again, this is not correct. This is not correct. Okay. What about 1? What about 1? Please check with 1. For 1, can I erase this? Okay, I don't need to. Let's move on. For 1, okay, I moved back. Yeah. For 1, again I'll use this expression. A equals to B times of P minus 2. I'm taking B as 1. So 1 times of 1 minus 2, how much is that? 1 times of minus 1, how much is that? Minus 1. So when B is 1, my A is minus 1. Please check here. When B is 1, my A is coming as minus 1. When B is 1 and A is coming as minus 1. So option C is correct. Why also? Because actually A was either plus 1 or minus 1. So my B I have taken as minus 1. No, plus 1. I'm getting A as minus 1. So for any value B, A is satisfied, right? A is satisfied, right? So these conditions are satisfied. So my answer is what, bacha? C. Answer is C. Hope this is clear. I don't have to do this iteration, but I did it anyway to make sure that you are getting the answer clearer. Okay, sir. Moving on to the next question. Okay. Fx is continuous at x equals to 0. Means L1 equal to L2. Simply write it here. L1 equal to L2 equals to f of 0, sir. F of 0, sir. Okay. Then f of 0 is how much? So find the limit value. See this question I said. In the previous question, the first question that we took, we simply found by putting the 2 as 2 cubes, so we got it as. But over here, I cannot put simply x as 0. If I put x as 0, what will happen? 1 plus 0 will be 1. Again, 1 plus 0 will be 1. So 1 minus 1 will be 0. So this is 0 and this will be 0. So 0 by 0 is indeterminate form. 0 by 0 is indeterminate form. So I cannot do that. I cannot do that in this case. Why, sir? Because after substituting the value 0 in the function, okay, I'm getting the indeterminate form. Indeterminate form of 0 by 0. So how will I deal with this question? I have to use some modification, either factorization or some other rule I have to use to figure out or to remove the indeterminate form from the function. So let's apply the limit first. So I can find this limit of function fx when x tends to 0. Okay, I don't have to do L1 and L2 because it's simply L I can take, right now, because this L1 and L2 are equal means L is existing. So let's take here, write the function limit root of, it's written as root of, so I can write it in the form of exponent. Please agree with me, all of you. 1 plus x to the power 1 by 2 minus 1 plus x to the power, what bacha, 1 by 3 upon x when x tends to 0. Please understand this. How, sir? How this is true, bacha? Root means power 1 by 2. Root means power 1 by 2. Cube root means power 1 by 3. Correct? Now, I told you in a couple of questions back, I can use LH. What is LH? L'Hospital rule I can use to do the differentiation of the expression under the limits and get the same answer. So what does this gives us? This gives us what? Limit of fx by gx when x tends to something value a is simply given by limit of what? F dash of x by g dash of x upon x tends to a. I did not write this because I have not taught you this right now, okay? But if you want, you can take it like this: fx by gx, x tends to a, f dash by gx, g dash x, x tends to a. Okay? Looks confusing. Simplifying in the simplest way, I'll say that this rule will help us to find the limit value by using the differentiation. I don't have to write this if you are getting confused over here. Okay? Okay? Alright. So using differentiation, I'll write it here. Using differentiation. Okay? So how will that look like after differentiation? Please check here. I'll write it on this step. Limit 1 plus x to the power 1 by 2 minus 1 plus x to the power 1 by 3 by x. This is what? X tends to 0, right? Please cross check the steps. Correct. So let's do the differentiation now. If I do the differentiation now from LH rule, I get what, bacha? I get here is 1 by 2, okay, 1 by 2 and 1 plus x to the power 1 by 2 minus 1. Same way here. Forgive me. 1 by 3, 1 plus x to the power 1 by 3 minus 1. 1 by 3 minus 1 divided by x, sorry, not x, 1 divided by 1. Okay. So how this is true, sir? This is the formula. D to the power x power n. So d of x power n is equals to n times of x power n minus 1. Same thing I've used everywhere. In this term, this term. n is 1 by 2, so 1 by 2 comes in front, x to the power, this whole thing is x, n minus 1, so 1 by 2 minus 1, 1 by 2 minus 1. I hope this is clear. Okay, this becomes what, bacha? 1 by 2, this will be 1 plus x to the power minus 1 by 2, okay, and this will be what, bacha? Minus 1 by 3 to the power 1 plus x to the power, sorry, minus 1 by 3 into 1 plus x to the power minus 2 by 3 divided by 1, so I don't have to write anything. Divided by 1, so I don't have to write anything, so denominator is gone. Now substitute simply. If I do that, what I'm going to get? So 1 by 2, 1 plus 0, right? So 1 plus 0 is simply 1. Same way 1 by 3, 1 plus 0. Okay, this will remain as 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3. Okay, this is the limit value that we got. So this will be what? LCM is 6. 2 3s are 6, so what is it? 3 minus 2, answer is 1 by 6. So I got my L1 and L2 are equal to each other as 1 by 6. Okay, they are asking us to find what? F of 0. F of 0 is the same thing as 1 by 6. F of 0 is same thing as 1 by 6. They are asking us to find f of 0. F of 0 is f of 0 is 1 by 6. F of 0 is 1 by 6. Answer is option D. Option D. This is clear? This is clear, right? Yes, sir. Now fx is continuous at x equal to 0. Question number 9. Okay, all right. They have given this continuous at x equal to 0. Function is defined like this. Find f of 0. So to find f of 0, I have to find L1 and L2. If I can find L1 and L2, or limit I can find, simply I can find the limit value. Simply I can find the limit value. I can say it is equal to f of 0. How will I find limit value? Please check here. Okay. So if I take this function, right now if you put here, x is 0, what will happen? So 0, 2 power 0 will be sorry. 2 power 0 will be what, bacha? 1. Minus again 2 power 0 will be 1. So this will be 0. Sin 0 is 0, right? Sin 0 is 0. So what is the answer? 0 by 0. Again indeterminate form is there. Indeterminate form is there. So how can we solve this, bacha? Let's see. Limit. I am not doing L1, L2. Simply I am doing the limit. So limit x tends to 0 for fx will look like this. Limit x tends to 0. I can take this as 2 power x minus 1 upon 2 power x upon sine 2x, sine x. Please check here. 2 power minus 1, 2 power minus x, 2 power minus x. 1 by 2 power x I can take, no? Exponential form I can write, right? So limit, I can take the LCM over here. So 2 power x minus 1. Okay, sorry. Not 2 power x, 2 power 2x, no? Because I'm multiplying this to each other. I don't have to explain this, right? I have to multiply these two to get each other. 2 power 2x minus 1 upon 2 power x, right? 2 power x divided by simply what? Sin x. Simply sin x. Correct? Okay, sir. Simplify this. X tends to 0. X tends to 0. Okay, sir. Okay. Let's check here. So I can write this as 1 by, I can write it in better form. Sir, limit x tends to 0, 2 power x, not 2 power x, 2 power 2x minus 1 upon 2 power x sin x. Correct? 2 power x sin x, this can come with this. 2 power x sin x, this can come with this, right? This can come with this. So I hope it is clear. Alright, sir. So let's simplify it. Moving ahead. So let me write it here. Limit x tends to 0, 2 power 2x minus 1 upon 2 power x sin x. 2 power x sin x. Okay. Now we'll do what? We'll multiply it with x. We'll multiply it with x on both sides, up and down. Let's check why I'm doing this, because I'll get what, bacha? I'll get here sin x by x, no? That will be 1, no? That form I wrote little bit back in the previous few questions. Okay, so I can write this as limit x tends to 0, 2 power 2x minus 1 upon x. Okay, and write this as 2 power x sin x upon what? X. Sin x upon x, right? So if I apply this limit to both these terms, what I'm going to get? For the numerator part, I'll get it as 2 log 2. This is nothing but this. A power x minus 1 upon x is nothing but ln 2. Okay, to a ln a. All right. So if you've forgotten this is it. The limit part, if you're asking, if I have to write this thing, so this is the expression a power x minus 1 upon x. Okay, if applying limit to this, limit to this, when x tends to again what, 0, what happens to this value? You get ln a or log a, you can write ln a or log a, you can write. All right, sir. So why 2 here, sir? Because I can multiply 2 here, no? Into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. Correct, right? This is into 2 into 2. If I do that, what I'm going to get? So see, now 2x, 2x, so a power x, no, a is 2 in this case, so ln 2, and this 2 is outside, right? So that's what it written here. Please check. 2 log 2, okay? And what about denominator? Simply 2 power x, okay? And also 2 power x is what? 0, right? So I can write 2 power 0, no? X is 0, bacha. I have applied the limit. So this is after application of limit. So 2 power 0, and this will be what? Simply 1. Same formula, remember this? Limit sin x upon x is equals to, when x tends to 0, is equal to 1, not 0, is equal to 1. So this is 1. This is my answer for limit. So what I get this as? 2 log 2. Because this whole thing is 0, this is multiplication. So 2 power 0 is 1 and 1 is just 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. So I can write this as, limit L1 is equal to L2, which is equal to 2 log 2. Simply write this 2 on the top side, the property of log 2 square, okay? So I get this as log 4, and this will be equal to what, bacha? F of 0 will be equal to f of 0. That's what they're asking. Find f of 0. Log 4 I got, option D is correct. Okay, so what's important over here? What's important is to knowing these properties. Rest also simplification, right? So we just have to know this property, 2 power 2x minus 1 upon 2x. This is nothing but x by 2, right? I have written it as x into 2. Okay, this is x into 2. If you want, I can replace it with brackets to avoid the confusion. So I have multiplied 2 here and I have multiplied 2 over here also. So what happens? It cancels out the effect. Please check here. 2 here will cancel each other, no? So that's why I have done here like this. That's why I have written it like this. So to get this form of 2x will make the 2 ln 2 will make the 2 log 2. 2 goes up, becomes 2 log 2 the square. So it becomes log 4, which is nothing but my f0 value. Answer is 4 log 4. Answer is D log 4. Answer is D log 4. Moving on to the next problem. Okay, next problem, sir. Okay, what does it says? F theta is continuous at theta equals to pi by 4. They've given it is continuous. All right. Okay, let's check. If I put pi by 4, what I'm going to get? 1 minus 1, correct? Pi by 4, tan pi by 4 is 1. And this is going to be 1 minus root 2 times 1 by root 2. So this is again be 1. So 1 minus 1 upon 1 minus 1 will be 0 by 0. So yes, sir. Indeterminate form to hai. Indeterminate form is there. All right. So they're saying continuous. It means L1 will be equal to L2 will be equal to f of pi by 4. Correct? F of pi by 4. So simply if I can find the limit, I'll get the answer. Okay, I'll get the answer. So how will I find the limit? Apply this. Limit x tends to not x, theta, right? So theta tends to pi by 4. Function will be this 1 minus tan theta upon 1 minus root 2 sin theta, root 2 sin theta. Am I right? Root 2 sin theta. So again, how will you take care of this? You can use LH rule again. Use LH rule again. If you do that, what I'm going to get for the numerator? Please check. You'll get here as 1 will be 0. So this will be 0 minus sec square theta upon 0 minus root 2 cos theta. Root 2 cos theta. Okay. Okay. All right. So now if you put the value of pi by 4, now you'll get what value, bacha? You'll get what value, bacha? Please check. If you put value 0 minus sec pi by 4 is what? Sec pi by 4 is cos pi by 4 the reciprocal, which is simply what? Root 2, right? Root 2, right? Root 2, and the square is there, so root 2 is square. Correct? Please check. Sec theta, sec pi by 4 is root 2. The square is, so square is there, no? So like that. And this will be simply what? We can remove this 0. This will be again minus root 2 times of 1 by root 2, because cos pi by 4 is again 1 by root 2. This will cancel each other. What I'm going to get? Simply from your limit value will be, please check, I can solve it here only. My limit, so what limit? Both L1 and L2. Both L1 and L2 will look like this. What is this? Minus 2 upon minus 1, because this is cancelled to each other. So simply 2. And this is equal to f of pi by 4. What is f of pi by 4? K by 2. F of pi by 4 is k by 2. So write it here. 2 equals to k by 2. What is k equals to? 2 into 2, which is 4. 2 into 2, which is 4. Answer is D. Answer is D. 2 into 2 is 4. Correct? Simple question. Very simple question. Okay. I hope you understood this. From here, we found indeterminate form. We took care of that from the L'Hospital rule. We got the differentiation as sec square and minus root 2 cos theta. Minus minus goes out, right? And then I took root 2 as sec 5 by 4, which is root 2 square, which is 2. And this is root 2 into 1 by root 2, cancels each other, becomes 1. So minus and minus cancels each other, becomes 2. K by 2 is 2, so K is 4. K is 4. Moving on. Okay. I think this should be your last problem of the day. Last one of the day. Okay. What is given here? Find the value of A so that the function is defined by this is continuous at A. Means again continuous means same thing. L1 equal to L2 equals to f at 0. F of 0. F of 0. How will I find L? So if I put 0 right now, I get this as 0. Sine 0 square is 0 by 0. So indeterminate form is there. Correct? Put here 0. Sine square of 0 is 0. Cos and divide by 0 square is 0 only. So I have to make some modifications here. Make some modifications here. Actually, this is a very simple question. You'll see. So somehow if you have to find the limit value. To find the limit value, please check here. So my limit will be fx when x tends to 0. So simply limit, what is fx? Sine square ax by x square when x tends to 0, right? So if I write this, let's multiply a square on both sides. Why, sir? There's an ax here, bacha. And the denominator I have only x. So let's multiply a square on both sides. What both sides, sir? There's no both sides, sir. Numerator and denominator. So I'll get this as correct. Now I can do this. If I do this, I can cancel. So remains same. So I have multiplied a square on both numerator and denominator. I can do that. Let's check here what happens. I can write this as sine ax by ax the whole square times a square. Correct, no? Sine square ax by a square x square becomes what? Take here sine square ax by a square x square. Now apply the limit. We know that. We know this formula. Limit of sine ax by ax when x tends to 0 is what? 1. So this whole thing will be what? 1 square. This whole thing will be 1 square. So I get what? Limit value L1 as 1 square into a square. 1 square into a square. This is multiplication, right? 1 square into a square. So I get L1 equals to L2 equals to a square. This is equal to f of 0. F of 0. What is my f of 0, bacha? 1. Please check. F of 0 is 1. So I get f of 0 is 1, which is nothing but a square is 1, which is nothing but a equals to plus minus 1. A equals to plus minus 1. Please check here. Option C. Option C. Okay. This was it, bacha. I hope this is clear. Okay. So this was it for the session today. We have done a lot of questions, almost 11 questions we did, right? And we did some more examples also. I hope the session was interesting. You learned some things, right? I hope you are working hard. Okay, I'm not getting a lot of comments in the section. Make sure that if you're watching the video, if you're doing some work, you comment, you ask your doubts. Okay. So I will know now that you are interested in the sessions. You're doing some work. So I will come more motivated, come with more motivation, and deliver a better and better session every day, right? So this is it. I know your festivals are coming up. Okay. Dussehra was there. Now there's Diwali. So all of this is going on, but still maintain the energy to study also, bacha. Okay. I know that to have fun is also very important, but make sure that you are going to work hard because you have a very big goal set for yourself. You're going to score out of out. We are trying to make you score out of out marks in your KCET examination, and we are covering all the topics in the simplest way possible. Okay, I've simplified all the concepts in the from the point of view of a student. So I hope this is helpful to all of you. This is our first session, actual session in our calculus, the unit 2 of our PU2 syllabus. Okay, we started with continuity and we did some other topics in this chapter as well. So with this, I'll try to conclude the session today, and take care, keep smiling, keep working hard, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye bye.